If you were to guess how many quests are in Skyrim, what would you say? 100? 200? 300? Well, the funny thing is, nobody's really sure. On the internet there are different answers with people considering different objectives as quests. Also, some of them are infinite, meaning that they are randomized and you can do them over and over. So when I say, can you beat Skyrim during every quest, I actually mean, can you beat Skyrim by doing every quest that the game offers you? We could say like, can you have an empty quest journal in Skyrim? Subscribe if you haven't already. Wait, who wrote that? Yeah, that wouldn't make a very good title. Anyways, I choose an Imperial. I avoid being killed and I get my first quest. That's basically keep avoiding getting killed. I stick with my boy Ralof and we get through Helgen. I kill all these dirty Imperials and I bet these won't have any moral repercussion for the rest of the run. Our next objective is to inform the Jarl about the Dragon Menace. On the way there I activate the Warrior Stone because I'll need to be at a certain level. You'll see why later. I also get the Golden Claw quest because it pays good money and I'm almost sure it's mandatory. No, I don't even want to be near you. The Jarl sends me in a ruin to get a stone tablet, and for once I can fight without restrictions. Still, I have to be careful about leveling. I will need to be at a certain level to finish all my quests. But being at a certain level means that more quests unlock, some of them delivered by courier and some forced on you by an old Vampire Slayer orc. You'll understand later, but this means that I'll try to stay at a low level until the very end. After mindlessly killing some bandits, some rats, a giant spider and some other guy that is somehow relevant to the plot for the quest, we can proceed further into the dungeon. I look at a funny drawing on the wall and I stab the important Draugr and get a stone. Now I would usually come back to the yard with the stone, but doing that means that I will have to avoid two individuals that will try to talk to me for the rest of the game. If they manage to talk to me, I'll have to complete a whole DLC because it becomes an active quest, so I'll delay completing the stone quest, but I can complete the Golden Claw quest and get my hard-earned money. Now my next step is joining the army. I'll get the quest later either way, so might as well do it now. At first I wanted to stay loyal to the Stormcloaks, but then I remembered that going to Windhelm may trigger the Dark Brotherhood quest line, so I joined the Legion. Thankfully I never did anything against them. I meet the Legate, and there is no security here by the way, I could reach her without any problem. And she informs me that to actually join them I have to prove that I'm good enough, so I have to kill everybody in a fort. I steal a horse and Why is there a kid sleeping in the hay while it's raining? Is this part of a quest that I've never bothered completing? Do I have to call CPS? The Legion? Am I the only one who didn't know that this happened? Kara Farm isn't a sweatshop, right? Right? Well, I mean, business is business. Cleaning out the fort isn't a difficult task. I just have to stab everybody many times without being stabbed myself. Well, that could be the definition of going to school too. Also, obviously I am alone. If they manage to get a dozen people to recruit this way, they might as well have won the war. Anyway, another quest done. I get back and I become a member of the Legion. The next quest is to assault the Stormcloaks in a ruin, to get a crown so that Ulfric can't claim the throne. We get there, we kill some of them outside, and I have to say that in this mission, with all the soldiers fighting each other, there are some of the best moments in Skyrim. Once inside, we have to kill some more of them. Then we proceed into the ruins. Here we have to kill the always present Draugr. And we reach the boss wearing the crown. Unfortunately for him, it's a 4v1 situation, so we take the crown on his head, and I can finally be the true king of Skyrim. I'm sorry, sir. Here is the crown, sir. Now I have to talk with Jarl of Whiterun, but he wants me to solve the dragon situation first. I give the tablet to the court mage, and we're informed that a dragon is attacking the city. Did he just told me how to buy a house in the middle of a dragon attack? Maybe it's a way to convince me to fight a dragon? And I'm going to fight this dragon, so it may actually work. I fight the dragon with the city guard, and I'm so sorry dude, I didn't mean it. I get the cinematic dragon kill, and we can proceed. Now I have to give Ulfric an axe, but I have a plan to win the war. I mean, that's it, right? This easy? Oh yeah, sure. Nice game, Todd. Apparently, I must give the axe to Alfric in another way. He gives it back to me, meaning he wants to attack Whiterun. Now we have to defend the city from the assault. The fight is pretty good. We win when we heal a certain amount of enemies. We have speeches, multiple people in combat, the whole thing feels cinematic. We manage to defend the city and now begins a series of quests to get control of all of Skyrim. I have to reach a hidden military camp, and my god I love horses in this game. So cool, so majestic. At the camp we get sent to intercept a courier and give false orders to the Stormcloaks. I bribe a guy in a good old-fashioned way, and now I can steal the orders from the courier, modify them, and give them back. Now we have to attack a fort. No fancy schmancy strategy, simply boys beating other boys with swords in hand, running in a cloud of arrows. No phones in sight, just Imperials living in the moment. We kill all of them and manage to conquer the fort. But a couple of seconds later a dragon tries to take the fort for himself. The horses, knowing who will win the war, attack the dragon together. Luckily there is like 20 of us, so with little to no effort we kill him. I report back to the general, get a promotion, and get sent to another secret camp, this time in the Rift. I meet the Legate, and my mission is to blackmail the Jarl Steward. Classic soldier mission, am I right? I mean, at least it's an interesting change of pace. I get in the Jarl's keep, and I can walk in, pass the guards, enter a room, and seal the incriminating letter because apparently nobody's paid enough to care in this damned game. Well, good for me, I guess. Letter in hand, I can blackmail the steward, and she voluntarily tells me about a large shipment of weapons and gold moving slowly near here. I report to the Legate, and she sends me to retrieve said shipment, because apparently I am the handman of the Empire that has to do all the work, or else nothing happens. Here I meet my man Hadvar, remember? The guy who I didn't even speak to in Elken, we stayed together for like 50 seconds tops. Well, he remembers, and I have to fake it. This time we have the reminiscence of a plan, that can be summed up with I have to attack them and the other guys will help me from a distance. Good enough. We take out the sentry, and then we draw our blades and murder the remaining Stormcloaks. Also, I steal some golden weapons because I fight for the Empire, but I don't love the Empire. I report back to the Legate, and I have to attack a fort again. Obviously we don't have a plan, unless you consider kill them while not being killed a plan. I have to say that this fight was a bit tougher than the previous one. Maybe it's because I was bored to death and I kept running in the middle of the enemies hoping to speed up the process. Maybe it's because I had nothing to heal with, it's not clear. I had to use a bit of intelligence, so I equipped an axe that scares whoever is hit for 60 seconds, so that they run away without attacking and I can kill them without any problem. We take the fort and I see my allies killing some enemies that are flying from combat. They learn from the best. And if you think that's a war crime, well, that means you can call me a criminal. Now, again, I have to report to the general, and I have to, again, meet the Legate in a secret camp. As you probably guessed, I have to attack and take a fort. I go and meet Hadvar again, but this time he has a strategy. We are outnumbered, so I have to infiltrate in the castle and free some of our men that are held as prisoners, so that they will fight with us after spending weeks, maybe months there. Probably starving and sick. Like, really, there were something like 20 more soldiers at the secret camp, why didn't they come with us? Also, like, what are they doing at the secret camp if they don't participate in capturing the fort near the camp? I mean, I've seen worse, let's do it. I wait for the night, then I can sneak near the walls and enter through a hidden trapdoor. Here I make my way to the cells and break them free. All 4 of them. Yeah, now we have a real advantage. Outside we have to do the same old thing, meaning killing people mindlessly. Fathers that won't come home, children alone. And or for what? Simply moving a border so that some monarch will be in power, not the other monarch? Why would we? Oh, sorry, I got a bit distracted. We won! Let's go, Empire! I get back to the general and get promoted to legate. No, don't worry, this won't have an impact in the game in any way. Also, it's like the third time that he gives me a steel armor. Now I meet the legate again, and I have to capture a fort. Luckily, this is the last one. Also, now me and the legate are at the same rank. Why does she give me orders? Why doesn't she go on a mission? I'm sorry, ma'am. My bad, ma'am. No, it won't happen again, ma'am. There isn't much to say here. We hit them with our weapons and they hit us with their weapons. The funniest part was when we killed them after they surrendered. I'm sorry, but the Empire has a strict no prisoner policy. You see what happened last time? Now it is time for the final battle. We attack Windhelm in order to control all of Skyrim and kill Ulfric. This quest is pretty good. At first we have the hype speech. Then we proceed into the city, having to kill enemies and break barriers. And I mean, it's a 10-year-old game and it shows. There aren't many people fighting and the AI isn't very smart, but it feels good when you are in the middle of it. We enter into the palace, and after they stop to chat a bit, we fight Ulfric. We win and the general asks me to take Ulfric's life with his sword. After that we have a small speech and the Civil War questline is finally over. I still have quests to complete, so I go on top of the mountain where I was called by the Greybeards a couple of weeks ago. As always, I go there by horse and avoid every problem. They introduce me to the way of the voice, but what's important is that from now on, every time I go to a city or a village, 2 cultists will wait for me there and will walk towards me. If they manage to reach me, they start the Dragonborn DLC quest, meaning I will lose many hours, meaning I have to avoid them at all cost. I practice shouting with the Greybeards and they send me to retrieve a horn. To avoid the cultists, I make my way to the dungeon by horse starting from Solitude, because for some reason they don't spawn there. Inside I have to kill some mages and some Draugr. Then I avoid a good chunk of the dungeon by jumping off a cliff and I get a shout that makes me invulnerable for a couple of seconds. It will be useful later, don't worry. I mean, not that it takes much to figure out why being invincible is useful. I solve a puzzle and I reach the end of the dungeon, where we find out that someone stole the horn before I could. The thief tells me to find them at Riverwood. So, I have no choice but go there and avoid the cultists. Here they are. I lure them and then dodge them by walking around the house. Luckily they don't enter buildings, so as long as I get inside the inn and they remain at a decent distance, I'm good. I meet the thief, she gives me the horn and convinces me to go and kill a dragon together. I get out of the building and, since the cultists aren't considered enemies until they talk to you, I can fast travel away. I want to go to Whiterun to sell some stuff, but I remember that if these 2 Redguards manage to talk to me, I have to complete another quest. Also, the cultists are there. I decide that it isn't worth it and I go straight to where we will find the dragon. We see the dragon being resurrected, but I don't want to waste time, so I charge towards him and start stabbing. My weapons are fairly decent thanks to the Civil War, so the dragon dies without even being able to fly. I get another cinematic kill, but this time I guess I got the dragon's POV. Delphine now wants to attack an embassy. I try to explain to her that I met her 6 hours ago, but a quest is a quest. They are just standing there, menacingly! For this quest I first meet Delphine in Riverwood. Then I give my items to an elf that can smuggle them inside the embassy. I infiltrate inside and I do what I usually do at parties. I mean, stealing the food. Well, please say hi to the FBI agent watching this video. Here I have to slay a good number of elves, and I find out that they have nothing to do with the dragon. Also, we read that they are manipulating the Civil War in order to gain more power, but I guess I'm too late for that. I kill everyone inside, including the jailed guy, because I don't remember if saving him triggers a quest. I get out, dodge the cultists, and Delphine sends me to save an old friend. We know that he is deep in the sewers in Riften. Also, I have a quest that requires me to retrieve my equipment. I can simply do it, but it's easy to miss. In Riften, a guard tells me to meet the Face Sculptor. It's a feature that was added in the Legendary Edition and has its own quest. I never talk with the sculptor, so I hope for the best. I go in the sewers, kill some folks camping there, and I begin to meet enemies that are too strong for the fear effect of my axe. I kill them anyway. I go inside the Ragged Flagon, where I can find the sculptor, and thankfully when I talk to them the quest is completed. I proceed deeper inside where I have to kill some elves, and I finally find Esbern. We fight some more elves to get out of there. Oh, come on, I told you to stop taking skooma while on a mission. We get out of there. We go to Riverwood and for some reason the cultists aren't there. I proceed carefully because I don't trust this game. Now that Esbern is with us, we need to find an ancient temple so that we can learn how to defeat Alduin. He knows where it is, so we go to Markarth and walk towards the temple. Remember that you can avoid the huge fight outside by simply walking inside the temple. At this point I am not leveling up, because I don't want to trigger more quests that require a certain level, so my equipment is good, but my skills are not. In the temple, we learn that a shout was used to defeat Alduin, so I go back to the Greybirds. Here I can give them the horn, completing that quest, and then they send me on top of a mountain to meet their leader. I shout at the clouds and make my way to the top. Here I can talk to their master, an old dragon, and he tells me that I have to find an Elder Scroll. The quest wants you to talk to some people around the world, but if you know where you have to go, you can avoid all of it and you complete the quest either way. So I go in the deep north and I meet a mad guy inside an ice cave. He tells me where I can find the scroll, but he wants me to do him a favor. And with favor I mean he has a quest for me. I have to accept and I will deal with him later. For now, I can make my way through a dwarven ruin, where I destroy some robots and some weird elves. Here I use the shout that makes me invincible for a short while, and I jump down, avoiding half the dungeon. I run between the elves because I have no chance to win if I fight them. I open a gate and run towards the door. I get cooked a couple of times, but at last I manage to pass this section. You can avoid the two folks talking and simply proceed onward into Blackreach. Here I basically have to avoid everything and everyone, because there are multiple quests that trigger in strange ways here. Luckily, it's easy to simply walk straight and avoid everything. I have to solve a simple puzzle to get the scroll, but I also have to remember to take the device that Septimus, the mad guy, gave me. I'll need it for his quest, but this isn't the right moment to return to him. I go on top of the mountain, I read the scroll, sit through the cutscene, learn the shout, and I have to fight Alduin. Thankfully, I previously got a sword meant to defeat him, and I don't have strange restrictions, so he doesn't stand a chance. I win the fight, but he doesn't die, he simply flies away, and I have to find a way to reach him. I have to lure a dragon in the castle in Whiterun, and if I want to do that, I need the name of the dragon and the Jarl to be on my side. The latter is already solved, since the war has ended and we won. Usually Delphine and Esbern tell you the name so that you can call the dragon, but if I go and talk to them, they want me to kill the dragon that is currently helping me, the Master of the Greybirds. Meaning more quests to complete. But if I go and talk to the Jarl, then come back to the Master, he tells me the name, without having to talk to anyone. Now I can get back to the castle, call the dragon and trap him. I convince him to bring me to Alduin and we fly towards the end of the game. We reach Skuldafn, a dungeon where there are no additional quests that I know of, so I can simply kill the Draugr and forget how you solve these puzzles. I make my way to the end, where I can avoid fighting the Dragon Priest by walking past him. Now I am in Sovngarde. Here I can find Alduin and kill him for good. First though, I have to prove that I'm worthy by fighting a big buff guy. I get to slow the flow of time with a shout and I manage to stab him enough times to win. I proceed inside the building and meet the heroes. We go outside together and we shout so loud that we clear the mist and Alduin comes down to fight us. We are way stronger than he is, and we win without breaking a sweat. This isn't over yet. Septimus is still waiting for us, so you get to see something that I haven't shown yet in these videos. The ending of the game, on top of the mountain, with all the dragons flying above and around me. I don't have time for that, my friend in the ice cave is waiting for me. As you can see, the quest doesn't have an objective to complete. This is because you have to be at least level 5 in order to start the second part. This means I have to power level a bit. So, I buy the Soul Trap spell, activate the Mage Stone and spam it on a dead body, waiting between every cast so that my magicka regenerates. You can see that I am waiting in the middle of a frozen sea. That is because here I can wait without the cultists or couriers reaching me. I do this for a good 10 minutes and I reach the required level. Also, I know that this could be considered an exploit, but it's simply a way to level up and I won't use conjuration later, so who cares? I talk with Septimus and the quest doesn't continue. That is because a courier has to tell me that he is done with his research. I am in a bit of a pickle, because if I wait near a city, the cultists will be able to reach me. Also, you see this old orc? Now that I am at a higher level, he spawns, and if he manages to reach me, I have to complete all the quests in the Dawnguard DLC. Waiting for the courier is a no-go. I then decide to fast travel between cities, until the courier is able to spawn near me. This is a good idea, and I managed to meet him in Solitude. He gives me a good number of items, and I thought that simply receiving them meant that the relative quest would start. Luckily this isn't true. The quests trigger when you actually read the item that the courier gives you. So I only read Septimus's message and go and meet him. To proceed with this quest, he wants me to collect blood samples from all the species that are related to the dwarves, meaning all the elves and the orcs. When I try to exit the cave, I remember that this game came out 10 years ago. To be fair, I remember these textures being dog even at the time. Now I have to find all the species, preferably already dead. My first stop is the dungeon where I had to retrieve the horn. Here I get High Elf and Dark Elf blood. 2 down, 3 to go. There is a chance that both orcs and wood elves are part of a group of bandits, so I start to wander around in order to find a fort or a bandit camp. In this journey I remember that Skyrim isn't a very diverse place. Also, many forts are controlled by Imperials or Forsworn, and I didn't find a single orc or elf among them. Finally I find a fort with bandits and I strike gold because I find both the species I was looking for. They get killed and I get their blood. Now I am only missing the Falmer. I decide to venture back into Blackreach because I'm sure I will find them there. Turns out I'm right, and I am finally able to gather all the blood samples. I go back to Septimus. He opens the door and gets zapped by the book. There is deep lore here, with this tentacle demon talking to me, but I don't really care, because as you can see, I have no more quests in my log. And with that I will say that you can beat Skyrim doing every quest. Or something like that at least. If you did this challenge yourselves, let me know how it went in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, leave a like or even subscribe. I'll see you next time. Well, you'll see me. See the video at least. Why do I always mess up the outro?